Hi, everybody. How are you doing? I'm Dr. Gail, and this is Nancy Jean with Nancy Jean's Garden. Thanks for joining us today. And today we're going to be talking about all the things that Nancy Jean does. I mean, it just is endless on how many different things she does. And so she's going to tell us because she can go from the garden to cards to what whatever else and going to her grids and all these things, different things she's going to do. But she's going to let us know about what each thing that kind of thing she doesn't describe it, because there's so many of us who are either new to this and don't know what that it's all about, and she's going to kind of educate us on the different things that she does. That's my dog shaking her collar.
Mm-hmm.
So, so anyway, let me see who's here in the chat while Nancy Jean's kind of getting ready. I'm going to see. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Hey, Car. Hey, Debbie, Three Shifting Bells. Hey, Viviani. Oh, gosh, I just messed up the thing here. Hey, Stacy Norton. Hey, Diane G. Hey, Kathleen. Hey, Rossi. Thanks for joining us today. Also, she's going to be doing an example of a 12-month reading on me. Hey, Sarah Fina. I don't know if I said that's right.
Serafina.
Very cool. Oh, that's Fina. Okay, that's nice. And let's see. Linda Roos is saying, "Good afternoon, everyone. Have a happy Thanksgiving and God bless America." Thank you, Linda. That's great. Yes, happy
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving to everybody. Hope you're getting your bellies ready for the food tomorrow. Hey, Son of Watt. Hey, Troy. Hey, Rossi. I see you changed. Let's see, Troy. You changed to T Boy 503 Star Child. You've added some things to it. So thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. Ginger Sky. Hey, Penelope. Hey, Rossi. Um, anyway, Nancy Jean's going to make little descriptions of all these things and try to get the people who don't really understand what she does, the things that she does. And
Mm-hmm.
so you want to describe your things while everybody's coming in before you go into the 12-month reading?
Sure. I'm going to cut away to my uh my ta- my table.
Hey, Jen Carr. Hey, Chris MK.
Okay,
Thanks
so
for
there
joining
it
us.
is. This is the garden, and what the garden is a divination tool that 3 years ago, when we all were locked down and didn't have a whole lot else to do.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you a little bit first, Nancy Jean.
Sure.
I'm going to tell a little funny story about the garden. When I
Mm-hmm.
met Nancy Jean, she kept talking about the garden, the garden, the garden. I really thought it was a real garden. I thought it was going to be this little plot of plywood with the little, the raised gardens that you see in people's backyards. I thought that's what it was when she kept saying the garden, and no, it's not. It's not a real garden. It's a silk cloth. No, go ahead, Nancy. I just thought I had to let people know where
Yeah,
I came from when you were describing it to me.
it's and what I had wanted is I started doing tarot, as you know, at the 878 deck thing when I was a kid, like 12. And I've been doing a lot of other stuff before that.
And the tarot is cards for people who
Yes.
are new
Yeah.
to.
If you guys don't know what tarot, that's the things you've seen where there's symbols and cups and hearts and swords and there's things like the tower, which everyone seems to know about because it's scary and we like to be scared. Um, so I said, I was talking with my guides and I said, I'd like, and they said, you have to make a divination tool. All the cards, whether it's a pendulum or a card or a garden or astrologic stuff, those are all divination tools, which means we are trying to define what's going to happen around us. And so this is the garden I created, and I would wake up one morning and it'd say, okay, here's what's going to be in the garden.
You see, Linda Bishop says, so funny because that's why I clicked on your channel, but I am psychic too. So I was happy. So and it was a garden too.
Yes.
Thanks
So
for saying that.
thank you. And I never know where people come from. They just appear on their words appear on my screen. So And because I worked a lot with crystals and grids and using stones for divination, and we're going to get into that, um, I got a list of words and I wrote them out in a tablet. And then I started working with a woman who approached me. She wanted me to be her mentor because she was a geologist and she wanted to understand the spiritual side of stones. And she also worked in design and in jewelry design and stuff. Anyway, between Alma and I'm not going to go through the whole thing, took us a while, but we came up with what the garden was going to look like. This is on a silk scarf. You get the crystals, you get these outer crystals are sort of create an energy dome over the garden to help it work. And you get sheets that tell you how to interpret the garden. And when I was making the garden, we made about 300 and some of them. And when you order them, they look like this. They come in a little cute. You can keep them in the container.
Can you show that a little bit more? It was kind of down on the bottom of the screen. There you go. That's good.
And I have 10 left. And when those 10 are gone, they're gone. Because the person who was building the gardens, putting all the pieces together, is no longer doing that. And Alma is working on trying to find an alternate way to have this set of divination tools created. When I sell out the 10 I have left, I am going to
So I'm going to ask you some questions about that. So somebody gets the garden, they have these stones, and they're wanting to do what we call readings on people. What can they get out of it, and how does that work?
Okay, we'll do a real quick one. What's going on?
You want to give a question for somebody?
Yeah, somebody had a question up in there, I think, somewhere.
Can I get a reading on for December 17th? We'll be 65. Will that do good?
Yeah, that'll do. So we're going to look at what's going on around Linda Bruce. And I'm sorry my things aren't centering better, but when I do it on StreamYard, it looks better than when I do it on Zoom. When I do it on Zoom, it looks better than on StreamYard. Anyway, the spaces are the chakras: root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown. And then because I needed another space, I put the tree of life ended up being put in there. And then there's ideas: go for it, true, restate, past, path forward, false, future, and present. And I actually have a workbook that defines the vision I had, where the guides told me what each of these spaces mean. And then in the middle, we have fire, water, air, and earth. And that's the 4 directions. That's a shamanistic thing. And Linda, we're going to look at December 17th for Linda. And that's a good question because it's a situational question. The garden is not meant for yes, no's.
Okay. And also I wanted to ask you a question. When you were labeling everything that's on the scarf, that's on the piece of paper people can look at, right?
Right. I have written descriptions of all this stuff. And when I sell the last few that I have left, I'm going to open it up to everybody who's ever bought a garden, because when I first put them out, everybody could come on and learn. I did a lesson every week or every other week. But if there is a method to the madness here, and it is worth learning. So what we're going to look at is December 17th for Linda Bruce. Okay.
And happy birthday, Linda.
Happy birthday. And boy, are you going to have a wonderful year. I can tell you right now, to start with, the spirit stone, which is an amethyst, landed in. Go for it. And your spirit's aligned with your own ideas. It's going to be a time when you're pulling into your own way of thinking. This stone represents our body. The 5 stones are body, mind, spirit, grounding, and clarity. And your body is between water and fire. And that means that you're going to be doing a lot more grounding. But you've got a gorgeous stone in the grounding stone, which is pyrite. And when it shows up in water, that means that grounding changes are settling into long-term patterns for you. And For you, that means that you've been doing a lot of work mentally to let go out of the past. You've been breaking from previous patterns and learning to move on, which is really a good thing to be doing at this time. And your clarity, this is the one you might want to work on a little bit because, and this is today, I'm rolling this for today, but your vision's a little bit clouded right now. You kind of know where you want to go, but if you just will just clearly listen to your vision, you can move it over to the path forward. That's a real quick summation. I'd say you're going to be in a great place on your birthday. You're going to have a good time. And you've been working on this last year to get ready for the 65th, and you are ready to move on and start doing some real changes and difference. That's how you read a garden.
Okay.
But to learn all that, you kind of have to really work at it. I have a garden group. I have some people that have been meeting with me for months every other week, and they're really getting good at it. And I find that the more I read with it, the better I get with it, because this did not exist until Alma and I created it. And there is a kind of people who rolled stones and things, but none of them had a patterned way of looking at it or an organized system. Not that mine is neurotically organized.
All right. Well, let's talk about the other things you do, like the grids.
Okay, grids. Let me clean the garden up. So I'm going to, Dr. Gail, this is why my office looks like my office does. Because
I'll just talk to some people while you're getting that going.
Okay.
I'm going to see, there's some more people that have come in, and let me see. I see Jean Miranda. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Jean Miranda, and hey, Sharon Sight. Hey, Ness. Thanks for joining us today. Hey, Helen Robinson. Hey, Sandra Joel, and hey, Gigi. And let's see, I'm going up now. I'm going to go back down because if I miss somebody, I'm sorry. Hey, Lauren Hunsinger, thanks for joining us today. And let's see, there's Sandra Dole and Anja's here, Mary Starshine,
Mm-hmm.
Guy, Crystal Blue. Are you ready?
I'm ready. It's coming. Okay. This is the crystal grid. That's where we're going next, right? And this is one I built.
You got Linda Bishop's asking, how do you get one of your grids?
You go to my website, www.crystaldirections.com, and you sign up to get a grid. And to get a grid, it requires that you and I meet. We do a reading. I have a set of oracle cards that I use that are used in sacred geometry to figure out what stones and what you need. After we do the reading, then I go through my tons of stones and we figure out which is the best for you. This is one I did 2 years ago because I was reading a man you're going to meet if you watch my 24 Advent crystals, which starts on Sunday, one a day. But the guy's name is Tim Walter, and he's an earth healer and a housing healer. He actually, that's what he teaches people how to do, is how to douse their houses and find troubling energy and get rid of it. He's a fascinating guy. He lives up in New York. I don't know what kind of, there's all kinds of problematic energies up there because they fought over that piece of land forever. But anyway, Tim said to me at the end of the reading, these grids, I find them fascinating. Have you made one for the world? Well, that's not pretentious. Let's just make a grid for the world, right? So I kind of laughed about it. And then I told Dr. Gail, and she said, yeah, we're going to do that. Okay. So between Dr.
I was going, why not?
Yeah, well, between Dr. Gail and Jeffrey from Ripe Color, we pulled cards. They became the stand-in for the world. So they're pretentious because they're claiming to be everybody. And when I interpreted the card, I select the stones, and when you get your grid, all the stones that are on there are outlined, and you can tell where they are on the grid, and it tells what they're for, attributes, and the energy I hope they bring into your grid. And then your grid, you power it with your own intentions.
And I have my grid sitting up here all the time. I'm absorbing the power from it all the time.
Right. And what you do is you fire up a grid where you join the energy of all these crystals. When you get it, you do that part. You join their energy. And when you're done, if you're like me, you can feel that the grid feels warm, like it's been fired up. That's why I call it fired up. And you set this, and it's like a little generator in your room. It's like a little generator of energy that follows you around. It can create a very positive vortex. I had an Akashic Records guy who said it created a vortex that he could stand in. And so that's a grid. It's a very this is the grid for the world, but everybody's grid is different. If you go to my website, I have about 190 of them in a slideshow, so you can see them.
Yeah, she does a personal reading to get what your grid should be.
Yeah, I don't have a stack of grids in the back, pull out and send them off.
It's very individualized.
Right, it's you, and you have to take responsibility for it. And I did get a call from a woman who wanted to know how to start it again because hers had kind of stopped. She moved. She had a lot of stuff going on. So I told her, write your intentions again, put them underneath it, fire it up. She wrote me 2 weeks later and said, I'm already seeing some of the things that I had been desiring to bring into my life. She said, it was so easy and I forgot how to do it. It's not tough, guys. None of this stuff is tough.
Yeah. Well, look at Troy. She says, Dr. Gail, I'm an Aquarius turning 62 in January. So I'm coming out and proud, waving my freak flag, as Terry would say. Yay, waving the freak flag. Yay. That's great.
So where do we go to next, Dr. Gail?
Okay, we're going to do, let's see, readings, which this was hard. Nancy Jean and I kind of went over this before the show, and I was trying to get her, because Nancy Jean's is like been doing this for years, has so much.
I was 12 and I'm 75, so you do the math.
So I'm trying to get her, bring it down to where people understand it, bring it down. So she was having a hard time sitting there going, and I'm going 5 words or less. So we were going now to readings and the different kind of readings, because sometimes when she talks about her readings, she can do almost anything. So first we're going to talk about, and this was the hardest one for her, was the personal readings. And and we got down to the personal readings. You can talk about your personal issues, your compatibility. And the first time I ever heard Spirit 7, I have not heard that term yet.
Okay, I can show you one real fast. I'm going to use a tarot deck. The difference between a tarot deck and an oracle deck is a tarot is a system. It's got the 4 suits, the swords, the cups, the blanking. It's so embarrassing.
So which ones did you need? The cups, the swords, the wands, and
the pentacles, money. I always forget the money, which is really sad because I shouldn't. But anyway, and this is a very fancy schmancy deck. It's a very ornate deck, but it's a Marchetti. And a Spirit 7 it's a reading you can do if someone said, I'll tell you one, a mother and her child, she had 5 kids, but she said, this is the child I feel the closest to. And so I can do a Spirit 7 to see how their energy is intertwined. And the cards I'm putting out now, and this is not that mother and child, but
thanks, Rosie. She's putting in wands and pentacles. She was helping us.
Yeah. This is the life you're living now. This life that these 3 cards represent is a life you had in the past. And this is how far you've come. This would be good. It'd be a good reading for someone, because the middle card is how well you're integrating the 2 of them. The other way I found Spirit 7 works is if someone knows someone, like the mother knew her child, and I could see how they knew each other in a past life and how they've connected in this life. And I hope this is not the mother and child, because that's the devil. But in the middle is Temperance. They've struck a balance. And what I saw when I laid the cards out was that they had lived in the Middle Ages, and they lived in the Great Freeze, which was a period of time when the Earth's climate changed rapidly.
So the Spirit 7 then is a past life reading.
It's a past life, because it tells you where you were and where you are now. And if someone wants to really quick, when I start past life readings, this is the first thing I do because we try to focus in on that life.
Because I feel like this past life reading, and I'm interrupting again, is for Rossi. Is for Rossi.
Okay.
I felt like that's the energy that was coming in because I was talking to her and you were throwing cards. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, what happened to Rossi in a past life is she had the opportunity to hide from the world. In other words, she had, and I'm seeing the Middle East, and I'm seeing not to the Middle Ages. We haven't gone into the Crusades or anything yet. And there was a drought there, and there was not enough money for everyone to survive. So it was a very trying time. So this, and what the echo you carry, and that's what I call it. It's like an echo. You remember it. You can kind of hear it. And the echo, you remember, that is wanting. And you were in a lot of pain, and you really hurt in that life. And you didn't get the recognition for the work you were doing. And it had to do with home, because you've got 2 6s in here. And when you get in the mental point of feeling this life creeping in, you feel very, very young. You feel very, very vulnerable. But what's happened in this life is you got temperance. So you're learning how to balance it. You're learning how to live with it. You're learning this isn't what's really going on around me right now. This is an echo. It's a memory. And it's a real shorthand kind of reading. I used to read at table all the time, and that's why I told Dr. Gail I have such a hard time explaining what you can do for people, because
it's been, I mean, you've been doing it for years.
Since I was 12.
Yeah. And Jen Carr, I see, I acknowledge, and I think that's great. You've realized everything crazy that's coming up is very true and verified through me, and you had made it much harder than it is. That's good to hear.
Yeah, and that's one thing a reading can do. It can be a reality check, because somebody said, "How do I know if what I'm perceiving are my own thoughts?" Well, if you let them in your head, you own them.
Yes.
So,
okay. All right. Let's go into more personal of the readings on the. You also do like personal issues. If you have one issue that you're really needing
right
to do a reading on, that they
pick out a yes no on that out of the list.
Let me see. Okay. I got a yes no. All right. Most of these are general readings. How about, can I have a reading for December 2024? That's not a yes no. Let's see.
Let's see if 2024 is going to be positive or negative, and I'll show you how to read that in a 5-card reading. Okay, this is for Ness. Okay. These first 2 cards are putting down are the past. Oh, you've been through it, girl. That's 10 of Swords. And this is the present, and this is the future, and it's getting better. You're going to get rid of that heartbreak. Something in recent past, you were really feeling high. You were feeling really good, like I've been through it. This is the 9 of Pentacles. She's standing in a gorgeous garden. She's got her parrot. She's really enjoying life.
Yeah, she went through it.
Yeah. And what's happened, the good thing about the 10 of Swords, I know that's one ugly looking card. I used to have a deck where he was lying in a snowbank with 10 swords in his back, and I used to call it I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas. But what it really means is it's done. You can't get more dead than that. I mean, whatever's done is done. It's over. It's finished. You're still adjusting to it inside yourself. You have your feeling, and your sides are not really resigned. You're working on it right now. But look who you come out, the Queen of Wands.
She says
She's got her own kitty cat on her lap.
She says it was a social betrayal.
Okay, yeah, that'll do it. That would definitely be a social betrayal. And your heart's healing. So that's your December. That's called a 5-card spread. You can use it for anything. When I teach my tarot class, which you can also sign up for right now, Jeffrey and I will be signing people up for that again. And I teach it with Jeffrey Ripe Color. Jeffrey probably knows more about the symbolism in the Rider-Waite deck than you'd ever want to know. And it's absolutely brilliant to teach with him. I read reverses. Jeffrey doesn't, so you get a sample. And we'll get into that if you take the class. But so you get a sample of how to read both ways. And in our classes, it ends up about being 50-50 whether people want to stay with reverses or not. I personally think if you don't read reverses, you're negating half the voice of your deck. But that's just me.
So Nancy's saying, thank you, Dr. Gail and Nancy Jean. Blessings to you both. Deep digital hug from me to both of you.
Thank you.
That was sweet. Thank you. Whoop.
Hi, Andrew.
Hit the wrong one.
Okay.
Okay. So now, okay. So you did go talk about your tarot classes.
Yeah. And when I do readings, if you call me up and say, I'm kind of at loose ends, I just really want to look over my life where I am right now. I pull out, I have a lot of different readings I can do for you, and we discuss them and we spend time on that. I have a couple of ladies who I am their mentor. And
let's get ready to ask you about that.
When they're having business questions like, how is this deal going to go? Or why is this happening? Or who is this person who's all of it been thrust into my work committee? And I'm talking about people that are on boards of directors. And I look at the people for them and we discuss it. And it just gives them another voice to see where they are. And you don't have to be on the board of directors. It can be your own little company. And I know I have you kind of on a contract and I know who you are. But you don't have to know you that much. I read a lady today who's been watching me with Scott for a long time. And she wanted a past life reading because she's going through some changes right now. And she thought that was the best kind of reading. So we can discuss that too, which kind of reading you think will be best. Because when people came up to my table, they'd say, well, what do you want to read? And I go, what do you want to be read about? Because that makes a difference.
Yeah. Well, this is going to lead up to your 12th month and 6 months. 12 months are being done at the beginning of the year, like now. And 6 months she does in June. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I start in May and June.
Okay.
If you want to see how the year's going to wrap up. And what we're going to do, guys, take notes. We're going to do Dr. Gail.
She's going to do me in public. But we've done it for several years. So this is an idea about her 12-month readings, which she's doing now. And if you're wanting to have a 12-month reading, it lets you know what the future's going to do by month, what it's
going to tell you where the energy streams are heading. It's not going to tell you. Still decide what you do. You do you.
Hey, Sonia, I love the T-shirt that you did. I did a show and I had it hanging behind me. So it was a great T-shirt. And I can't remember, it was a couple of weeks ago that I had that T-shirt up. But yeah, it was a great T-shirt. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let's see Dr. Gail's.
So I'm getting to my 12-month reading so I can be prepared on what's going to happen each month. And I go,
you can look ahead and kind of say, nah, you know, the good thing about tarot, and the reason I always liked it even when I was a kid, is if you get a crappy card, you can always turn it around or just say, no, that's not going to happen.
You can change it.
Let me see if I can get this up high enough.
So if you're wanting to book a reading with her, especially these 12 months, which she does only in December and 1st of January, like So go to the website, Nancy Jean's website, which is crystaldirections.com, and sign up for.
How about if we do a 6-month reading, Dr. Gail? Because I forgot we're on StreamYard and you don't all fit. I'll fill you in later on the rest of it.
Okay. So we're going to do the first 6 months.
Yeah. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Is that right? Yeah. April. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
It's hard, everybody, to think while you're on.
That's why I don't do them out of the yearly cycle, because I end up, are we in March? Yes. And then I have this little deck, and it's a really pretty deck. It's, and I've had it forever, and it's a Robin's deck, and her characters are very fairy tale. These are very Gothic painting looking, not Gothic, but Renaissance painting looking things. And these are very sweet little images. And so what we're going to do is I
Well,
put one.
you have 8 months there. Do you just want to do 6?
That's why it didn't. We can do 8 months as long as it fits under the thing,
Okay.
so they can see the
I
images.
was thinking
Okay?
about time thing.
Nah, these things don't take all that long. And I also, someone says, "How long does this take?" And I used to say, "How interesting is your life?"
Pretty interesting.
I know, Dr. Gail. Well, you got other elements in yours. So
I'll
this,
tell you, everybody, Nancy Jean does not do galactic readings. So you're not going to go her and ask, where is,
what's my star family?
yeah, so she is very earthbound.
I have been told by my guides that I like humanity too much and that they want me to go do things and I won't do them because I want to stay earthbound. I had a Akashic Records person who said, "You were here in Lemuria and you were here in Atlantis and now you're here now." And he said, "By now you should have progressed up and been one of the people up there that helps run things." And I actually remember fighting with him and saying, "Nope, you're not keeping me here. I want to be with my people."
Yeah. I appreciate that, Mary. She says, Dr. Gail, I see you gaining at least 3,000 subscribers. Thank
At least for Dr. Gail.
you.
This is the 5 of Raphael, which translate to the 5 of Cups if you know the Tarot. And if you look at this image, yeah, you may get to that many, Dr. Gail, because what you've got here is you've opened all these gifts over here and you didn't like any of them. So you're going over here to see what's better. So you're moving on to some better things. And the reason you're doing that in January is because you know this is the world reversed, and that means that you're not quite done with. If you lay out the major arcana, it starts with the Fool and it ends with the World. So when you get the World, it means you're at the end of something or you're wrapping something up. You're finding out you're not ready to wrap things up. So January is not going to be, but you got a major arcana, the World on here, and when you get a major arcana, it's a very important month. It means that there's going to be some interesting things happening, whether you want them or not. Oh, but it's setting you up. You're going to be fussing and fighting in February, Dr. Gail.
Okay.
And it's because you're coming out of your shell. Something you're going to become involved in is going to make you have to get up and be more active. It probably is your guys who aren't fixing your house. But it's February is going to be a little bit of a long, short month.
I'm already kind of doing that.
I know. This one's set up. I know a lot. Dr. Gail and I talk a lot. March is the ending of a lot of stuff. Isn't this a gorgeous card?
Yes. Peace. Oh, wow.
And that's Archangel Azrael. And this is going to be the month where you're going to release the past. This is when you're going to find the things that have been being stalled here are going to come through. And there you are. She even looks like Dr. Gail. Queen of Pentacles, sitting there counting her coins. And then your April. Oh, that's going to be your move.
Move.
Well, you're going to be really starting to think about where you're going to move to. And
are you kidding me? In April, I'm going to be moving again?
You're going to be looking because you're going to be wanting to strike out and have your own power for some reason.
Okay.
And
maybe it's not a physical move.
No. And you need to take a more uplifting approach about the changes that are happening around you. 5 are the cards of change. The number 5 is a number of change. And March is going to bring a month that's going to bring some real changes for you. And you're going to handle it like a champ.
Thanks, Mary. You love that Queen of Pentacles. Me too.
That's April. May. Yeah, see, something's going to get settled in your favor, Dr. Gail. And it's you're going to be fighting for justice and equality, rulings made in your favor. Don't give up. And I see it's probably has to do about money because it's got pentacles on top of it. That's May. And then June, the Eight of Raphael, which is the Eight of Cups. And this is I think you're going to make a decision to really make a move, Dr. Gail. I don't know where to. I don't know why. But you have something better waiting for you. And you just have to decide what it is. When I get this card, I always say to people, there's a field out in front of you and it's got cans of paint in it. What color can of paint do you bring back to me?
I always bring purple.
Okay. So you're always working on your higher level chakras. And that's what this is based out of, because you're not using your skills to your best interest for you financially as well as emotionally. It's June, July. Yep, you're moving, Dr. Gail. You got to change your life.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Some revelations offer you great freedom. Now, you may not want to do it, but it's going to make you freer. Break free from procrastination. Embrace the opportunities for this new change. And it looks like a happy place.
You think I'm physically moving somewhere else?
Yeah, your practice is going to shift somehow. I mean, major.
Okay.
And August.
I have no idea what that would be, guys.
And often you don't just mark this might be coming, and then you wake up in the first of that month and go, oh, that's what it meant.
Yeah, Diane, it's exciting. If another move, I'm just getting ready to move in a couple of weeks. That's why I'm going another.
Well, maybe it's going to take a while to settle into that move. I don't know. Epiphany. And you have this one. And that is the Hermit. So after all this intense activity, you're going to lock the door behind you. Joy through spiritual growth. Be a light to others. Yeah. I think it's going to happen out of your practice. And it's going to happen lots of sudden information. Eight of Wands. It's going to be moving towards you. This is kind of really quick because it's hard for me to concentrate on her energy when she's watching y'all. But then what we do is when we lay out all 12 months, then we go back and we look at the specific months. Like your big month is going to be revelations that come up in January that are going to kick you in the butt. And in April, you're going to stand in your own power and make decisions.
Okay.
And, we can do more later when we're trying to.
So everybody, that's an example of what's going to happen month to month. And it's nice to have that because either you really like what's happening and you're going to go through the month to month and just let it happen, or you can kind of change it a little bit if you don't like what's happening.
And part of the fun of having two decks in this reading is you get your main deck, which is the big energies going on around you. But then you get modifiers. And last year, I did a woman's 12-month reading this time of year. And her December reading was the Fool with the Fool on top of it. And I said, oh, you have to tell me where you are a year from now, please.
Yeah. Okay. So you about ready to take some questions?
Sure.
Okay. Stacy, let's see here. Stacy Norton, can I please get a reading?
Okay, I'm just going to do a general reading for Stacy because she didn't put. If you guys are thinking about typing things in, it would be helpful.
You want Stacy to give more details?
Okay.
Stacy, are you here?
Stacy's here.
Give a little more
Talk
detail.
to that.
Read.
I see on the daily. I don't understand that comment. So,
Stacy, can you give us a little more what you want to read on instead of just a general reading?
I'm going to give her a general reading on her direction right now.
Yeah, she's here in the chat. So
yeah, I know.
Okay. Actually, you're doing. She didn't know what to ask.
Okay, then we'll ask.
Hey, Stacy. So she is actually going to read on the direction she's going to go in.
Okay. You've had some concerns about money, a little bit of financial downturn, or you've had a male who's been a pain in the butt. Dark-eyed male. and you kind of really weren't sure about which way to go. You're like, is this really okay? I'm not sure. But right now, you're beginning to get your vision back, and you're thinking about, I want to go work with others who are compatible to me. Yep, male.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the near future, this is where you're at the point you're at today. Whoever it is, just they drain your energy, they take from you. That's the Seven of Swords. So you need to cut them off from being able to get your and you got the card to do it. You got the Nine of Rods. You can build a fortress for yourself and make yourself strong. And that's kind of what the reading today says. Whoever's been jacking with you, get rid of them. Or make sure they don't jack with you anymore.
Okay. Well, there you go. She said, she says, yes, I'm going up north to visit a better male.
Okay.
Good for you, Stacy.
Yes.
Okay, let me see who else we got here. Let's see, Jen Carr. She said, listen, let me find somebody who's not asking just for a general reading. Okay, here is, can I have a read for December 2024? I think we did nest.
You did that one.
Yeah,
Jen
okay.
Carr came up with a specific one further down at
Okay.
340.
And
It's something about her 25-year marriage is unfortunately crumbling. Okay.
yeah, Son of Watt, if you'll post more details, because she wants not just general reading, something a little more specific, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
So which one is
It's Jen Carr, and it's not Jen Carr. I can't move them.
okay.
I'm going to ask about the woman. I asked about her 25-year marriage, and I'm going to see.
Okay. Let me see if I can find that one. Oh, that was Jen Carr.
Mm-hmm. This is a Celtic cross. It's a long reading. That's a lot of detail. Okay. Yeah. He lies and he tells you stories and he sets up fights. And you've known for quite a while that things were ending. You got the Wheel of Fortune reversed here. You're ready to set out and create new boundaries for yourself and create a new life. Have you thought about going back to school or getting some more training, Jen? Because I see that here. In hopes and fears is you just don't want to hurt anymore. You want to get out of the emotional pain of what's been going on around you. You're becoming your own best person. You're becoming your own Knight of Cups, the person who can help keep you happy and secure. You're planting the crops you need to plant. I think this is him going away, and you are going to be able to find people who can guide you through this. If your marriage completely falls apart and you have to fight for the financial gains, I see you protecting your own. Okay?
Yeah. I'm interested in, are you finished with her?
Yeah.
I'm interested in this because we were talking about you do people's businesses and things. And here's what's going to happen with my business. If you have time, thank you. So I'm pulling it out because that's a curiosity question for me about her too, business.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna use a different deck. I find when it's a little fairy tale cards, business doesn't come through so well. So okay. Danielle. Okay, what's going on? I'm going to ask if your business is going to head in a good direction, because what's going to happen with my business is a really broad, and it would take 3 or 4 different questions to really cover it. So
Danielle, do you want a specific question to ask her?
she wants to know if she thinks her business is in trouble. That much I get. So I'm going to ask if it's going to start heading in the right direction. You're restructuring That's what your problem is here. Okay. Do you work with a male? Because what I see is you've been very patient and you've waited a long time, but the real force of the business has been pushed over on you, and you're not willing to carry it anymore. You need more help and support. Your heart's not in it at all, or other people's heart's not in it. Some male is not making very good decisions, and so if he can change his attitude, or you guys can wrap yourself emotionally around the changes that need to be made, and they need to be made, because doing things the same old way, that's 10 of Wands. Doing things the same old.
Yeah, she says she's working with 2 males.
Okay. Who's the one that does the most writing? The one who signs things, because he's the King of Swords here. And they're not making good decisions because they think they can just hang on a little bit longer, and you just don't see it going the way it ought to be going. So right now, if they don't change, what's going to happen? And let's see. What if their heart? Yeah.
What about her heart? Is it in it?
Yeah, no, her heart's not in it. She's been temperate. She's been the sane voice. That's temperance, balancing things. She's been the same voice. And these guys have played with her good spirit. So let me get rid of those 3, because there was a chance to bring in some younger people or some newer ideas, and they didn't do it. And that was this summer. And I think that's when you really start to see the picture on the wall. Will this get better?
Yeah, she's saying 1 is lazy and 1 is hardworking, but you are dead on. I have been the same voice.
Right. The Knight of Swords, they don't want to move the business. The Knight of Swords always means movement. They're sitting there daydreaming, waiting for the right cup to show up. It don't work that way. Right now, they're deluding themselves completely. They got the Devil card. You are going to, however, be able to move on whenever you want to. You're going to be able to take the skills you've wanted to bring in, because one of the partners is ripping off the funds from the company. That's the other thing that you haven't seen yet.
Mm. She says she's waiting for a new younger guy.
Well,
okay. All right. This is the one last question.
Okay.
And this is Son of What? Can I get a reading of what I'm going to experience in February 2025?
Okay. I'm going to go if it's positive around Son of What in 2025.
I'm laughing at Stacy Norton saying my guy doesn't know I'm 19 years older. No worries. We're already hung out. Laugh out loud.
Okay. When you start moving, you're not going to be able to stop. So be very, very careful. There's a lot of other people involved in this, and they're going to have a lot to say about it. It can turn out to be this is the Ace of Coins. It can turn out to be very beneficial financially, but you're going to have to sell out part of your spiritual self to get there. And that's what these 2 people are about. So I would, if you have not made heavy duty plans and you don't know exactly how you think it's going to go, I would seriously rethink what you think is going to happen in February 2025.
Okay, everybody, there's Nancy Jean's website again, crystaldirections.com, where you can go sign up for a reading, a garden, a grid, all sorts of things on her website. And Nancy.
And we teach it, so you don't have to call up Dr. Gail or me. You can look for yourself.
So, thanks for everybody for joining us today. And
Yeah.
so her readings, everybody wants to get a 12-month reading so they know what's coming ahead next year. So be prepared.
Yeah. It's actually, when I started doing, I actually started doing them before COVID at a wine bar where I used to read on New Year's Eve. I was trying to, and that's why it goes so quickly. I designed it to go quickly. When I do them with you privately and you call me, it's a little different. But because, well, first of all, after the third glass of champagne, who has patience for anything? And it's a and I've had people over the years be able to tell me, you said that thing was going to start up, was going to take 5 years. Well, it took 5 years. So everybody have a blessed holiday weekend.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. And your next show, Nancy Jean? Today is Wednesday.
Sunday with Scott, and that's public. That's public events. So that's if you don't want politics and stuff, don't go there. But I'm going to be. It will start on. If you join at my channel, you'll get the notice. I don't know when it's going to start because the big thing is the 24 days of crystals. It's a crystal advent calendar, and I have stunning people like Dr. Gail backing me up on that. And they'll be every day at 11:11 in the morning Central Time, and they're going to be on a premiere system. So they'll premiere at 11:11, and then they'll just be there, and you can go look. It's kind of a way to prepare for the changes and to see what's coming up. So far, the crystals have been fascinating. So far, everybody I've read with, they ended up, oh, I just happen to have, a halite ring, or Scott has a giant piece of chevron amethyst, this giant globe sitting on his desk. I mean, and I don't know what's in them. I don't make it up. It was put together by the National Geographic Society. I don't know what's in there till I open the box.
Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty exciting. So we'll be looking for that in December, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably around December 1st.
Starting Sunday.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. And we have a happy Thanksgiving. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving.
And remember, even if it looks dire, you can change it.
Okay. All right. We'll see y'all later. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Nancy Jean.
Mm-hmm.